Hello and welcome to the very first and, fair to say, probably very unprofessional episode of the Armstrong Motor Group
video podcast. We're so unprofessional, we haven't actually named it.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah,
I'm Steve Vermeulen. I'm one of the marketing managers within the Armstrong Motor Group, and I'm joined by...
I'm Cameron Officer. I'm an ex-motoring writer, and I'm the director at Cameron Officer Limited.
You're a director?
Pretty much, I've just made myself a director. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Clearly not a podcast, but it's fair to say we both love our cars.
Yeah,
both
absolutely. Complete car tragics, and I guess that's kind of how this thing was born, really. Not the most professional operation in the world. Let's be honest. But what we're trying to achieve here is, because we're general car fanatics, and we work in the car industry, we want to sort of ask those questions that you, the viewing public, might ask of your Armstrong dealer, or if you just love cars and want to see what's new on the market. We're here to kind of walk you through that.
There's obviously a lot of brands within the Armstrong group, so we're going to take you through them and figure out a bit about what's new, what's around. We'll be learning a bit of stuff on our own on the way as well. We love our cars, doesn't mean we know every stat there is, so we'll give you a bit of a guided tour of some of those brands.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, well, that's enough about us. Let's say we
should probably invite the guy with the air gun to.
yeah. Oh, please.
Don't know if you can hear that. Well, you probably can hear.
Yeah, you may not be able to hear, but we are in a relatively large workshop.
Yeah, very cool.
We're actually fortunate enough to be filming Episode1 from Fiat Chrysler New Zealand's storage lockup and warehouse facilities
High
in
security,
Auckland.
We're in lockdown here.
And we'll sort of give you a bit of a walk around and show some cool cars along the way, but there is a little bit of background noise. Hopefully we can edit that out in the mix.
Yeah.
And hey, how about these chairs?
Yes. Speaking of, look at that.
Like
Abarth. No, now.
Abarth.
Yeah.
So not to be too precious about it or car wanker at all, but
it is actually
Abarth.
And
the
Steve
R is silent.
Steve knows this because he's actually been to the factory and embarrassed himself in front of an Italian gentleman who gave him the correct pronunciation.
Yeah, that's right. I've gone through that humiliation so that the rest of you don't need to.
Don't need to do that. But they are very cool chairs, and they are from a 500.
These are the original. Well, yeah, I believe these are from a Tributo Ferrari Abarth 500.
Brilliant.
So, hey, a pretty cool office chair. If you ask. I'll be taking these home. So these are Fiat Chrysler. These are not coming back.
No. There's two missing from the boardroom.
Yeah.
Right now.
All right. Well, shall we talk about some news? Just some interesting things that are happening with some of the brands within the motor group.
Absolutely. Nissan's a big one at the moment. Because,
absolutely. I mean, it's a bit of a product onslaught, I'd say, at the moment.
Well, they've just released. I think the first wave of journalists have been overseas to drive the new Navara, which is coming out.
Big model for New Zealand, obviously.
Absolutely. I mean, the ute market is, as we know, it's just massive now.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of brands that are really fighting it out at the top of the tree, but Navara has always been there. It's been a real mainstay.
Yes.
So I don't know much of the detail around the new one, but you can bet your life it's going to be a big car.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I don't have all the details. It's literally last week. I think the journalists sort of drove it in Thailand.
Yeah.
From what I picked up from some of the stories, the chassis has been carried over, which look, that's not unusual for utes.
No.
The life cycle of a ute chassis is generally a little bit longer than an automotive passenger car.
Yeah.
But it's been changed pretty radically. So the big changes that I picked up on was multi-link rear suspension. So first thing you're going to notice when that new Navara hits the street is it's going to be a lot more refined, a lot more car-like, which is generally the direction for utes at the moment.
Yeah.
So gone is the leaf spring truck suspension, if you like, that sort of that very utilitarian sort of commercial vehicle suspension. It's still going to have all exactly the same payload capacity and towing capacity, but it's going to be a lot more refined in its handling and road going characteristics.
Well, because Nissan have already been down this road with the Patrol, and that was quite controversial because, I mean, if you know the Patrol, it's been a real gutbuster in the car. It's a big grunty four-wheel drive.
Absolutely,
but the
yeah.
new one is really refined. It's
Yeah.
like it feels very, very premium. So, I see a lot of them around on the roads. I don't know about you, but there are a lot of them. So there's a lot of people obviously subscribing to the idea that just because it's capable off-road, it doesn't mean it can't scrimp.
Exactly.
And
And the beauty of the Ute, is, particularly in our market, is that more and more people are picking them as essentially their family car.
Yeah, absolutely.
So-
They work on the job site at the weekend, and then they tow a boat at the weekend. And
Absolutely.
that's
So
it, isn't it?
why compromise if you can still get all the workload requirements in a package that's nice to drive? Then makes sense.
Absolutely.
So 2.3 litres, gone down from 2.5 litre.
Do you know the torque? What's the torque? Because that's
Torque,
been,
so that's always
the
headline for the Navara, isn't it? At the moment, it's still producing 140 kilowatts and 450 newton meters. So this exactly line ball, but because it's gone down in capacity, it's 20% more fuel efficient.
Oh, okay.
So and look, I may be I may be making things up for Nissan while I sit here, but look, they've always pulled a bit of a trump card in terms of torque out midlife or something like that. You kind of get that hint that maybe 450 is a starting point.
Holding back. Yeah, that's right, because the 450 was, wasn't it? Started off at 420 or something like that?
Yeah.
We might be just rewriting the whole development process for
exactly,
Nissan.
But literally as we speak, some powertrain development manager in Nissan is going,
voluntarily
what is he talking about?
But it's not all for Nissan though, because they've had a busy year, eh?
Absolutely. So
Qashqai's just
Qashqai, Now, I had not yet seen one, but I've seen the press photography and stuff like that, and that looks like a real gem. Actually, I personally own a Qashqai, an older one, a 2009, but I love it. It's
it's
just
good
such a
good package, eh?
Yeah, I can remember back in 2009. I think mine was first generation. 2009. That was designed to replace
Primera.
and I can remember that being quite
real head scratcher. Yeah. Like, what do you mean you're replacing a sedan with a small SUV?
Yeah, but now, my God, thank God they did that, because what an amazing vehicle that is to the Nissan range.
Absolutely.
My wife's not tall in stature, and she just loves it. It's high riding. See over the traffic, all of those great things that you get in an SUV. But at the same time, it's perfectly manageable in its size, parking, no problem, and all the rest of it. So
for me though, because for me the sweet spot in the Nissan range has actually always been the X-Trail.
Yeah.
And it's another vehicle we've seen a facelift, and quite a major facelift this time. If you remember the X-Trail of old, it was a very boxy car.
Yeah.
I always liked that. I liked that boxy styling.
You had a Pathfinder for
an X-Trail. I had an X-Trail press vehicle. Yeah, we lived with one for 6 months and wrote about it, and it was a fantastic car. Really practically packaged, lots of room. So when they went to the new curve styling of the X-Trail, I was a little bit suspicious. But having driven it, it's still got loads of room. It looks the part. X-Trail always felt a bit removed from the rest of the range, but it definitely feels like it's part of the Nissan range now. So hey, they're having a good run with their styling.
Like 3 big models for Nissan, so absolutely head down to Armstrong's Nissan to check those ones out. All right,
fantastic. We've got a lot to show you actually. We bit of news obviously out the way, but I'll tell you what, you can clearly see something big and green behind us, which we'll show you around soon. But I think we're going to go and look at some new products from Fiat, and I do say products plural. Up until about a year ago, they sort of had the 500, and that was about it. But now they've introduced a couple of new models to their passenger car range, so we're going to take a look at those.
Great.
Okay, this is a Fiat Punto. You can see badge on the front, it's a Punto. Now you're probably wondering, what's the big deal here? Haven't Puntos been around for a long time? Well, they have, but they actually took a bit of a sabbatical from the New Zealand market. Up until about a year ago, 18 months ago, Fiat essentially had one brand and one model, that was the 500. Now they've increased it with this, the Punto, and also the Panda, which has got rave reviews out of Europe before it arrived here. The big thing here, it's a nice little hatchback. It's got a pretty ready-made market, it's fair to say. 1.4 litre petrol with a dual logic transmission in it. The big story here though is the amount of kit these things come with. They're quite impressive. There's 3 grades: the Pop, the Easy, and the Lounge. This is an Easy. It's strange, but that's what it's called. It's an Easy, and I'll tell you what, it's easy to buy it because this thing is $19,990. Would you believe? It's impressive value. In fact, you can get a $17,490 Pop grade Punto, and it comes with all sorts of safety equipment and infotainment system, stuff that you get in a car that really would be worth a lot more. I'm pretty impressed with this, and you've got to say that some of the car companies in the market in this segment, small, urban friendly 5-door hatches, they've got to be worried. I mean, these prices are very, very competitive. They really are taking it to the market. It's one thing, I guess, to have a 5-door hatchback offering, but when you're reintroducing a brand or a nameplate to the market like Punto, you need bums on seats, and I think Fiat New Zealand's really done quite a courtesy here, and they've pushed the prices as lean as they can get them. So you've got to say this is a pretty good package. I would anticipate you're going to see a lot more Puntos on the road in the next 12 months, that's for sure. Well, here we are in the Panda, which is, if you keep your eye on sort of European motoring media, you probably hear this name a lot because it's quite a popular car. It's been around.
James May.
He's got one, hasn't he? And he's got the 100 horsepower one, which I'm not 100% sure. I can't go that way. I'm going to go this way.
We've planned this drive route the back.
Finding our way around the back blocks of Mount Wellington and Auckland. So this car has been around for a wee while, but it's new to Kiwi audiences, and it's again part of this sort of growth that Fiat are really going through at the moment. We've talked about the Punto that they've added to their lineup. And I guess the Panda's, it's quite a historic nameplate for Fiat.
Absolutely.
It's been around for a long time, and if you're going to look at the DNA of it, it's probably more closer and kin to the 500 in a way, isn't it? It's
in terms of its the equity in terms within the Fiat,
within the
family.
Brand, and exactly. So
absolutely,
and
it's not a nameplate that has been around in New Zealand an awful lot, but
no,
as you rightly said, in Europe it's very well known and fair to say pretty well renowned as well for its just compact size and the practicality that's built within it.
Absolutely, and it's I'm not sure if you can sort of see, but it's a little compact 5-door hatchback. It's quite a square sort of styled. In fact, it's called Squircle is the name of the design language that they've used for this, and we'll show you some shots of things like the instrument binnacle and
it does have some really cool. Funky is probably one of the easiest words you can use to describe it, but just sitting here straight away I'm seeing all sorts of quite little surprise and delight features, like the door trim and the dash panel is embossed with the word Panda all over it.
It is too. I didn't realise that. Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, it is. It looks like a textured surface, but it actually says Panda all over it.
Also, the dash is colour coded to the car. We're driving a sort of a metallic navy blue, and so we've got a metallic navy blue dash in front of us. even the steering wheel is kind of a squared off in a way. It's very subtle, but it's quite squared off. And, squircle. And also down here, the handbrake they've said is designed to be like the mouse. It's like a computer mouse.
It's very squircle indeed. Yeah.
it's pretty much
that
all
is.
along.
Yeah.
So squircle and square.
But the real story is probably not what's inside, it's what's under the bonnet.
What's under the bonnet.
And that is quite a special bit of kit indeed, in that it has a 2-cylinder,
basically 900.
twin air turbo engine.
Yeah.
So by twin air, that's a Fiat terminology for pneumatically operated valves.
That's right.
That's the extent of our knowledge. We're just going to leave it out there.
Don't paint us into a corner.
Yeah.
But the thing is, this is part of a big move in Europe, especially with the smaller cars. Small capacity, twin turbo or turbo powered. And it's, of course, in Europe, diesel has been king for a long time, even in very small vehicles. But that seems to be ebbing away. There's a lot more reliance on petrol engines, but small capacity,
absolutely,
economic,
small capacity, turbocharged. And it's part, the engineering that they're now able to build in to a small capacity engine, the pressures internally are much higher than they could ever have achieved 10 years ago. The internal sort of pressure on componentry is quite strenuous, but now with the advancements in meteorology and engineering, they can develop these very small high output engines.
Absolutely.
And this is one of them, obviously. I mean, when on earth would you have ever thought, unless you were talking about perhaps a Fiat 500 circa the 60s, that you'd have a twin cylinder road-going car.
100cc car. And the other thing you notice, and it's all about context in a way, because you go to Europe and we think of these hatchbacks as, and rightfully so, as urban machines. They are designed to ferry us around our cities and big towns. But and you go to Europe and you'll see something like this, flat tack down the motorway, like just going between cities. It's it's a utilitarian car. We probably use them slightly differently, I think, in New Zealand. We're a bit more akin to saying, right, small car means we won't take that out of town. But I think even though it's a smaller engine, it's still very, very powerful for what it is. And I think it could actually, it could be a runabout, but doesn't mean it's limited to the city limits, basically.
Well, it doesn't feel like a small car. I'm quite comfortable.
Yeah, there's heaps of headroom.
Yeah.
So no, there's heaps of headroom, and it's got a little boot as you'd expect, but it's all you need really in the back there. It's a neat car, and look, from the outside, it doesn't look like anything else on the road. It's quite nice, but it isn't. It's unusual, but it's not like a novelty. There's some cars you find it's all about the novelty of the car, and they become almost like, it's like the old joke about the radio station PR car, that's so different, it's quirky, but maybe not in the best way. But this isn't like that. It looks modern, it looks functional, but it has a bit of cheekiness in its DNA. It's real Fiat through and through,
Yeah, absolutely, it is. It's a great tip of the hat to what Fiat have always done, and that is slightly quirky or
compact,
out of the box sort of thinking cars.
Yeah, and the big other headline with this is 21,990.
Wow.
Starting at.
Yeah.
This is a lounge spec we're in, and geez, you get a lot. You get a lot for your money.
Well, and not only that, but the savings are going to be in the fuel economy as well.
Yeah.
It's like cars are just what you can get there for your money. Like when we think back to when we first started driving cars and writing about cars, such a huge shift in technology and the what's out there.
Features now. Just
absolutely. When we think back at what we were road testing at that price bracket, it's just a world away.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you get all sorts of stuff. It's just buy, you just get everything you really need in the car, right from the entry level up. It's a great package, and look, I think it's going to be probably a second car for a lot of people, but it could also be first choice for empty nesters and those kind of people as well. it's a characterful car, and it's a point of difference as well. I think there's cars in this kind of segment. There's a few models that tend to dominate, but it's always nice to step out of that, have something a little bit different, a little bit off the wall. Paparazzi.
All right.
That was it for this episode.
That was it, yeah.
Yeah, we hope you enjoyed it. Obviously, this is a work in progress.
Yeah.
We will admit we've got to scrub off a few of the rough edges.
Rough around the edges, yeah, a little bit
But
there.
that's us really, isn't it?
But look, thank you for tuning in, and do stick with us. It will get more and more polished, I'm sure.
We've got some pretty cool stuff coming up.
Absolutely,
as well.
yeah. So some of the things we have got lined up include motorsport tour of a motorsport facility, New Zealand's leading motorsport facility.
Absolutely, it's pretty cool stuff. And they don't just do that; they do some pretty cool stuff with custom cars and things like that too. So
absolutely, So that's kind of something for the very near future, and we hope to see you next time. So thank you.
Cheers.